Hey friends, welcome back to this channel. My name is Stacy with Stacy Makes, and if you are new here, welcome to this channel where we talk about all things crochet, plushies, amigurumis, markets, new patterns, all of that fun stuff. And if you are not new, welcome back. Thank you for coming back again to this channel. This week I was just a busy girl outside of crochet, and I had lots going on with the kids this week and the end of school, and I had a little bit of hand pain and stuff, and it was a rough week to try to get things done, honestly, which was okay. Giving myself lots of grace these days. I have lots of inventory. I have 2 big shows coming up though, back to back. The first one, I have no idea what to expect because I have never been to that market. And the second one I have been to, and we sold a lot last year. I want to say like over half of my inventory I sold last year. So it's a big 2-day thing, and there's lots of money, not a lot of money in the vendor fee, but we also have a hotel fee, and we stay all night, and we take a whole weekend away from our families, so it's just important that show does go well. And then I'm off for the summer until the fall time, so it's just kind of a balance of how much do I push myself to make inventory, because I've only got 2 shows left, but then again, they may be big shows, and there's not going to be time in between. And, how much do I just enjoy this season and the transition, school getting ready is out now for my kids. Their last day was last Friday. Just lots going on. So hopefully you guys had a great week, productive week, whatever that means for you. Let's get into what I do have this week, which again is not a lot. I literally have 4 things to show you today. 2 of those are tests that I did. I spoke of one last week because I actually made it the week before. And then one of those is a new to me pattern by Madeline Miko, and another is an oldie that I pulled out of the archives and made again. And so I have 4 things to show you. Let's start with the first test that I did, which was actually last week, that I did for Stitches by Patty. It's actually released now. I believe it released on Friday, and it is Cornelia the Cow, and there's a plushie version and a snuggler version, and I chose to do the plushie version. I'll go ahead and show you my cow. She is quite adorable. Hopefully that worked pretty well. This beauty, believe it or not, is no-sew. And you're thinking, well, that head works from the front to the back, and that body works from the bottom to the top, and how in the world is it no-sew? Well, buy the pattern and find out, because it's a unique way to do it. And maybe she's got it in her other patterns and I just haven't made those yet, but it's the first time I've come across this particular way to attach a head to a body, especially like of this size and that's stuffed. So it was interesting. I really had to concentrate on the instructions a little bit. I think because when I got to that point, I honestly, I don't know why, you should read patterns all the way through before you go to make them, first off. I don't always do that, and I should do that. But I went into this test the way I go into lots of patterns, which is I open it up and I kind of see how many pages it is. I kind of look forward slightly, don't read a lot, and then I usually start, and I just get started. So when I got to the part where you attach them, I was just like, oh, well, we're going to attach them. We're not going to sew it. And anyway, it's been a few weeks too, and there's been a lot going on since then. So I'm going to do my best to describe it. So, well, not the technique, because I'm not going to give that away, but just to describe the test itself. So the The pattern has the spots worked in for you. And another unique way to do the bottoms so that the hoofs look like, you know, have that definition on them, which I love. And the spots are included. You sew the ears, arms, and legs ahead of time. You make the body first, and then you make the head. So, and they get attached to each other in the pattern, the technique. So, I would say it's definitely an advanced beginner intermediate pattern because of those techniques, and it's a little beyond a beginner for sure. So if you are a beginner and you are buying it and trying it and you're a little frustrated, then I would expect that, because it is definitely just a different, unique technique. So I did really enjoy the pattern. I made it across a couple days the week before the Anime Fest, and I was distracted quite a bit, but I got it done and it's cute. I did make it with Elise Voluto yarn and a 5.5mm hook. And these are, I think, 20mm, just plain black eyes. I kind of thought she had enough going on, and I'm trying to do a sinker eye along a muzzle like that. I decided I kind of put some up there, but they were like 20s were too small and 25s were just too big and was going to like sink in around the muzzle area. So the plain black I just felt like looked better. There's also an option if you want to do embroidery eyes. And then obviously this can be done in a snuggler version where it is not stuffed at all in the body, and so it's more of a snuggler. This would come out a really great size in Burnett, but I signed up to do Elise so that she had a variety of yarns and stuff, and then I wanted to do just a fun color so that it wasn't traditional. So hot pink and kind of a cotton candy pink and white is what we went with. So cute pattern. I think I'd make it again. It's kind of one of those things where at this price point, I think I'm going to do 32 on this cow, but at this price point, I probably want to see this one sell first, and then kind of like the Camille, the sitting cow too. Like I just see how it does, let it sell first, and then maybe make another one later. So not something I make a bunch of just because of the price point, but it's a cute pattern. Congrats to Stitches by Patty. I know she's got a bunch of animals kind of in this similar body style that are in the works and being tested, and even more variations of the cow are to come. So look out for that, and visit Stitches by Patty's Etsy to purchase if you are interested in this pattern. I'll have all the links down in the description below. Okay, so that's make number 1. Okay. The second thing I'm going to go over is, I'm not doing these in the order of that I made them. I'm doing them in the tests, the new pattern, and then the oldie but goodie. I was chosen again by Mom Stitchetti to do a pattern test for her. I did her mermaid, what is that now, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and really enjoyed that. And this time I was chosen. She has a new snuggle monkey and standing monkey coming out, and I'd done her snuggle lamb, and that's the only one I've done in the laying down version. I have her dragon I really want to try, and I have the deer that I really want to try and I hadn't gotten to yet. So when her tester call came out, I love the standing animals that she does. They are just chef's kiss. I love them. I make her standing ones quite a bit. But I wanted to try the laying down snuggle version of the monkey. So this is completely no-sew, which is awesome. Make all of the accessory pieces ahead of time and then sew it all together. But also I had signed up again to do Elise Voluto because she likes to have a variety of yarns. So when she picks you, that's what you make it in, which I do that on some of my patterns as well. Like, you know, if you said you do it, I don't have 17 chickens and they're all brunette, you know, like they're in different sizes and colors and things. There's a variety of them just to kind of help with people interest in the pattern that have and try and use different types of yarn. Sorry, words are hard today. Anyway, I didn't want to do traditional monkey colors. Again, I tested going Crochetsy's monkey a couple weeks ago and did it in banana colors. And I wanted to do this one in something non-traditional as well. So I'm going to show it to you and I'm going to give you a chance to figure out what kind of monkey this is. Okay, have you guessed it yet? This is in Dora the Explorer, Boots the Monkey colors. I did not do the yellow underbelly that Boots has just because I was following the pattern to a T outside of the color change that I did on the tail. And then I left the legs the way they are and the length of the hand the way it was. I had thought about going on up and making this more like a boot, and I'm like, nope, Stacy, like, it's one thing to change the colors when you're doing a test, but it's a totally different thing to alter it at all or make it look at all different than what it's supposed to, because the point is that you're following the pattern and you're testing the way that it is written. So I did take a chance here on the color change on the tail, but I mean, that's pretty simple to figure out if somebody saw this picture and was just like, oh, she just did the tip a different color, which, you know, people could choose to do pretty easily in the pattern, even for the regular monkey. So anyway, no sew, you make the ears and all of the arms / legs and the tail all ahead of time, and you work from the front to the back, attaching everything as you go. Just, again, a brilliant design that just comes together, and these laying on the table look so cute because they just like the Snuggle Lamb. I've sold several of those. They just the way that they kind of sploot forward and lay is just really adorable. I messaged Alexandra is the owner of Mom Stitchetti, and I was like, I love your patterns, but I will have to say that I was like internally cursing a little bit making this tail. This 4 single crochet around, lots and lots of rounds tail, and trying to stuff it like was something. I mean, it's stuffed really well. I wanted it to be stiff and movable. Like, I mean, I'm able to make it look like it bends, which is just a straight, you know, rounds and tube. But then trying to stuff it on top of that was a unique challenge. But I wanted to make it the way the pattern was written and make it 4 single crochets. And she said that she had tried to do 5 and it just did not look right. It just seemed too big, which I get it. Like, sometimes you have to sacrifice your hands for the sake of a pattern. I totally understand it. Especially as a designer, there are things that, sorry, this is complicated, or sorry, this is annoying that this is so many rounds, but I mean, for the sake of what you're making and the way you want it to look, that's the way you need to do it, you know? And somebody made it in worsted weight already in the tester group, and I was like, how in the world did you do this tail? Bless your heart. Not me. This was hard enough in Elise Veludo yarn with a 5.5mm hook. So imagine, you know, if you don't like to start anything in 4 single crochets and then go a couple rounds and then, you know, increase out, imagine doing this many rounds of it and trying to stuff it. But it was worth it. It came out so cute. There is also a banana that goes with this pattern that kind of, I think it has a string that goes around the neck and that kind of looks like the monkey's holding the banana. And I did not get around to making this because I honestly finished this super late last night. Boots got done last night, last minute. For today's video anyway. The test isn't due until Wednesday, and the pattern is supposed to release on Friday, May 27th, I believe is Friday? No, May 23rd, sorry. May 23rd is Friday. So it's when it's supposed to release is Friday. But this is Mom Stitchetti's Snuggle Monkey. There's also a standing version that she's coming out with. I think you can buy them separately or you can buy them in a bundle when she releases them like that. And this should release on Friday. So these eyes I painted myself yesterday. I did paint safety eyes yesterday morning. I got up and did that before I did my Walmart run. And I have 2 sets to list on Etsy. But I needed the 20 millimeter size for loaf cats if I decided to make a bunch more. And then I made some Toothless and Night Fury colors for myself and or Tara in case we decided to make a few more of those. And so I just made some extras, and I have 2 sets of sinkers to put up on Etsy. Anyway, thank you, Alex, for picking me to test this pattern again. It is no-sew, make the pieces, work it from the front to the back, sew the pieces in. It's an amazing pattern. I love this snuggle design that she has. And anyway, just always a solid pattern. I found absolutely nothing even wrong with it in the tester phase. So, okay. So the next thing that I'll go over is a pattern that was new to me, but obviously not a designer that's new to me, and that's Madeline Mako. I make lots of her stuff. I love the simplicity of her patterns and the way that they are just written. There's just, it gets to the point. It tells you what you need to do, and the construction is just easy. So even if the pattern is new, like this one was, it's not something that takes a lot of brain power for me, because I'm also very used to her designs. I think that probably helps too, because I'm very used to the construction of her designs. So she took a lot of her patterns down, her old patterns, and was going to retire them, which I love these older patterns of hers, and I already own like every single one of them. And so I have a copy. But I know other people, when I was talking about patterns, or other people were talking about the pattern that they used to make something, were disappointed they couldn't get a hold of them anymore. So she decided to make a Madeline Mako archive Etsy. So she has a completely separate Etsy store called Madeline Mako Archive, where she is listing her retired patterns for a very reduced price. So you can check that out. Just make sure that you're in the archive part and it's her. And you can get her retired stuff. Now with that, she's designing a ton of brand new things, coming out with new stuff all the time, and I'm part of her Patreon, which is worth every penny to be a super supporter, because I'm getting her copies of her patterns and she's releasing them and getting sneak peeks, and it's totally worth every dime. And this one was in there over the last month or so, or maybe 2 months. I can't remember how long ago she released this one in the Patreon. But it's part of her itty bitty belly collection, which are standing animals, and it's the dinosaur. And so I got in the Premier Basics chenille multis that were the variegateds, and I was just trying to think of things that I could make, which I love, make dinosaurs, the brontosaurus dinosaurs, out of the variegated yarn. And I'm like, maybe I can make this itty bitty belly one out of variegated and do the accents with solids. And so that's what I did. So this is the itty bitty belly dino. See his little belly? So this is not no-sew. Some of her patterns are very much no-sew. These are sewn into the round. The legs are, made and connected and sewn up. The head and the body is all one piece that you make together, but in this particular case, for this dinosaur, you do have to sew on the muzzle, the 3 spikes, and the tail later. So but fast sewing, that's stuff that, especially if you have experience with sewing, is not hard, and is super fast to do. So these eyes were made by Saucy Puffin Crafts. I got them in the Advent calendar around Christmas time. They are beautiful. A tip when you do have a muzzle like this to sew on and you're wanting to use sinker eyes around it, is I went ahead and when I placed my eyes where I wanted them, I went ahead and put my muzzle on, and I sewed it on before I actually snapped these in, because sewing around the edges of a sinker eye is really hard. It's hard to get close to it. So I put them where I wanted it so that I could see where my muzzle needed to be sewn, because technically the pattern says to put your eyes in and then sew the muzzle between them. So I just kind of placed them where I wanted them, put the muzzle on for reference, took the eyes out, sewed the muzzle on, and then came back and actually put in my sinker eyes after my muzzle was attached. So just as an FYI, I know that other people do that with stuff that's close to the eyes as well. So, or they don't use sinker eyes because they're worried about how to sew around them. So if you are wanting to use sinker eyes and there's a piece like that, then just know it can be done. So you make all the pieces ahead of time. You could wait to make the muzzle and the tail and the spikes and stuff until later if you wanted, unless you sew the muzzle on as you go like I did, because they're sewn on when you're completely done. The spikes and the tail are, but the arms are sewn into the round. You make the legs, connect them, work your way up, sew your arms in. You work your way in and then you increase back out for the head. I sewed the muzzle on, then put the eyes, then finished the top of the dinosaur itself. And then when that was all done, I sewed the tail on next, in between the legs at the back. And then the spikes get placed on the head, one starting at the top and then like a stitch-ish apart, and then placed down all in a row down the back. Super cute pattern. Adorable. I really enjoyed it. I would probably make more of these. I just was looking for something that was kind of new to bring you guys and to add to my table, but also something that wasn't going to take a ton of brain power this week. Learning a new job has been hard on my brain. Plus everything I have going on at the house and stuff with the kids. My brain has been shot. My ADHD is like all over the place. But I think coming out of winter time too, like, let's be real, like winter time is just hard on people in general. I feel like, there's no sun, the days are shorter, there's not as much to do and activities and things like that. And so it's just, winter can be rough. And so summer is definitely, spring, summer, fall are definitely my favorites. I like a good winter snow, but winter in general lasted way too long this year. So, sorry. This dinosaur is cute. Madeline Mako. This is not archived. This is new. So this will be in her regular store for Etsy. And again, all the patterns will be linked down in the description below if you are looking to purchase any of them. I would highly recommend it. I think I'm going to do 22 on this guy. I didn't say earlier, I forgot to say earlier, I'm going to do 35 on the boots. That's what I charged, I believe, on the Snuggle Lamb too. And I would have done probably a little bit more on the monkey because of the tail. The Snuggle Lamb does not have that long of a tail. And so it was a little bit less time consuming, but I'll probably try to keep the Snuggle animals as close as possible in price. So, but this I will do 22, which is pretty common for Madeline Mako's standing animals, or the ones that have the dangling legs. And this size is anywhere from 20 to 25, depending on how many pieces there are. I think I did 20 on the chicken and the duck that I did that was hers. That's adorable, but it didn't have the sewn on pieces, so I added a little extra for the sewn on pieces. So, Madeline, if you are watching, I love this. Thank you so much, Maddie, for this pattern. It is awesome, as usual, and I appreciate you. So, itty bitty dino. Okay, the very last thing I made this week, I was Anime Fest got over and I was out. Like, my brain was just like over it. I wouldn't say I lost my Crojo so much as I was just like, I was needing to do something, but like my brain was just not in a place to want to process what I was going to make next. And so like my youngest son Henry had a friend on the phone, and I'm like, okay, give me an animal. That's what I'm doing. And she's like, an axolotl. And I'm like, awesome. Give me a color even. Because like at this point I was just over making decisions. And because I wanted to crochet, I just didn't. But knowing that it was something that she designed kind of helped spur my desire and motivation to do it, even though it wasn't like for her, but knowing that like she kind of helped design it and she wanted to see it done, you know, was kind of spurred the motivation and desire to finish it, even though it wasn't my idea, but it just helped me make the decision. So she's like, axolotl, and I'm like, okay, pick a color even, because at this point I was like, done. She's like, purple, and I'm like, fantastic, that's perfect. So I went searching through my patterns, and I thought, I don't want to make a little bitty one. I mean, I have little bitty ones that are Crochet Grove that I have for $12 at the market, made from Elise Veludo yarn. This last time is what I made them from. And I wanted to make a bigger one, which I have done. I think I only had one bigger axolotl pattern in my pattern bank, and it was Crochet by Jenna's pattern, which I have done in jumbo yarn and made in a jumbo yarn size and sold for like 18 or 20, I think. But purple wasn't a color that I had available in jumbo yarn in 2 different shades, and I didn't really feel like working jumbo yarn is just kind of be hard on my wrist, and my wrist was been sore. My fingers have been sore. So I made it out of Bernat Mystical, and I had the purple that kind of has obviously the Mystical kind of gives it a little bit of a pixelated look. I kind of wish my eyes weren't so far apart. But anyway, so this is Bernat Mystical, and then this is also Bernat, but it's an older formula like purple. It's kind of a more tubular, a little rougher, stiffer. I don't know how she describe it. Sorry about the train. You know, 2-3 times a day. But I liked the pixelated color for this, like when I did the Minecraft spiders in the cinder black / gray color, because it kind of gave it the pixelated Minecraft look. And so I thought the same would maybe happen with this purple and the accents as well. So I did modify this pattern very slightly, in that instead of doing bobble stitches, I did popcorn stitches, which popcorn stitches are what I add to I add popcorn stitches as feet for my skunk and my rabbit. The hamster is bobbles because their feet aren't as big. And I think the squirrel might be popcorn stitches too, but they just stick out a little more. I mean, you can see that they bobble out and they have way more presence. You know, they're bigger than a regular bobble. I don't have anything to really show you a regular bobble right now, but well, I do. This is a regular bobble on the thumb of the monkey. That's a 5 loop, like a 4 incomplete double crochet, which has the 5 loops on your hook before you pull it through. And then this is a 5 double crochet popcorn stitch. So I did modify it in that way so that the legs would, but I mean, I still put them where she put them, and everything else in the whole pattern was hers. But this is Crochet by Jenna's Axolotl, which is one of, I think, the very beginning patterns that she released, and she actually has a free YouTube tutorial now, I believe, on making this. So I do wonder sometimes when you do these gills in the round, if it would not just be easier to just make the body. You're going to surface crochet this anyway. If it would just be easier to go back and surface crochet the gills on so that you don't have to like fumble with changing the colors. She changes the colors in between the gills for one stitch and then goes back. And then when you do the next round behind it, you got to be careful to tighten behind and around them. And it slows me down so much that I just wonder if it would just be easier to just do regular stitches there and then go back and do my gills as a surface crochet, even though I hate weaving in ends for whatever reason. When I surface crochet and I have a beginning tail and an end tail, and then like weaving them in, tying them together and tucking them all in, if I have too many of them, I find it quite annoying. I don't know why, but I just do. It's like because I want to be done, but I'm not done because I have to do all this finishing work. I love that this gets finished as you go. But anyway, it would just be 4 tails, 2 on one side, 2 on the other, and then you would have the 2 that you would have from this doing this tail, so you'd have 6 tails to work in total. But maybe you'd be able to make the body so much faster that maybe it would be worth it. So I'm not sure. If anybody else does that, you let me know. Anyway, so Crochet by Jen is Axolotl pattern in Mystical Purple and the Solid Purple. That's an older formula. I think it's in the Brights collection. This purple is. 6mm hook, Burnett. And I'm going to do 15 on this because the crochet groves are smaller and skinnier around, and I do 12 on those, and I think that if I do 15 on this, it didn't really take me much longer than a crochet grove one. And then I do, if I do this in jumbo, then I do 18 or 20. So, and I've always sold the ones that are in jumbo, so I need to make me some. That should be on my list. Okay, friends, that is all. Like legit everything that I made this week. I will show you really quickly some of my eyes. So this is my eye tray that I showed you guys a couple weeks ago. I'm just going to point out, I needed to fill up with some 20mm, which my 20s are down here. Oh, let's see. These are all new, these blue ones, the blue, the green, these white and silver, these yellowy gold ones are all new. And then these blue are new in the middle. These blue, sorry, those aren't new. These are new blues. These are new center pupils that I did. I have a project in mind for those. These yellowy gold ones, these blue, the green, this gold, all new. So I love this little tray. It's very full now, and I actually have a few in my drawer that wouldn't fit in here. Let me just show you like some of my favorite ones. So like here is the yellow / gold. And then I'll show you the ones that I made that are kind of the Toothless Night Fury colors. I think that they'll work for that. Okay. So, and then these white ones were so fun. I actually made, this is what I used on the monkey, but in the 25, this is a 20. I made a silver that was also in that size. Anyway, it was fun to get to do some of that yesterday. I filled my tray back up with some more neutral, normally colors that just kind of are very, they go with lots of things, you know, like when you have one that's bright purple or something, then you just like, get to find the right fit for that. And so like the blues, the greens, the golds, the silvers, those kinds, I feel like you can just put on so many different things. Boy, girl colors doesn't matter, but like it's, and then like the loaf cat colors and things like that work well with them. So I just needed to add more of that to my collection. And then I made 2 sets I'll put on Etsy. They should be on Etsy. If you don't find them on Etsy, they've probably already sold out. Of what you get in those sets is a 20, a 25, and a 30. And then you get a 4th pair that's one of those sizes. You don't know what size you're going to get for your 4th pair, and you don't know what colors any of them are going to be. So you get a pack of 4, 20, 25, and 30mm, and you'll get 2 of one of those sizes. And then you'll get mystery colors. So you don't get to pick the colors, and you just kind of get them, and they're like in little baggies with their backs, and you just find something to use them for. So anyway, okay, I think that's all I have for you guys this week. So future plans, next 2 weeks, I'm going to really try to push myself to get as many plushies done as I possibly can for the shows. I need to kind of look again and see what we sold at the Anime Fest to see if there's kind of a price range gap in there that I need to fill. I think I just kind of sold randomly across most of the price ranges. So I think I'll just probably make what I want to make, and go into the next shows with what I have is what I have, you know. I mean, I do it for fun. I don't want to stress myself out. So that is my plan over the next few weeks for that show. And then when summer hits, I have bought some yarn to make myself a wearable or two. Like, I have a couple patterns picked out. I'm so excited to, I think like when I go on vacation in July, even like taking those projects, that being what I work on my lunch break, that being what I work on when, you know, even if I'm outside, but poolside, but not like a breezy, nice day, or just having a project for me that I want to finish over the summer. I don't want it to take forever over the summer because I still need to build up inventory for the fall, but I also want to enjoy my summer with the kids at the pool and on vacations and doing stuff with them. So one of my goals is I have a couple patterns picked out that I would like to maybe see turned into something that I can wear when fall comes. I started a scrappy cardi last year, and I have 26, I believe, of the granny squares done, which is, I think it's 26, or maybe it's 36. It's enough for the whole, I wanted to make the tall version. It's enough for the whole front and the whole back, plus some. I didn't make any small ones though yet for sleeves, and so I'm thinking, and then I would have all the ribbing and everything to finish. So I haven't decided if I'm going to, I used the Big Twist Party yarns in a couple different colorways for those squares, and I think I have enough to finish the small stuff for the arms, but you have to make like 20 something small squares, I think, for the arms itself, and then join them all. And so I just kind of got super overwhelmed at that thought. I thought maybe I make the whole front, make the whole back, and then I do like a granny stitch out, kind of like you would on a hexie-cardi, and do a granny square stitch out for the arms. I'm like, will that look weird? I mean, maybe I do a granny square stitch out and then like a row of granny squares and then another like granny square stitch, and then I don't know. I'm just trying to find a way to not have to join 70 bajillion granny squares with strings and worry about it in the wash and stuff as well. So if anybody has a brilliant idea for that, let me know. Or I might just turn those squares into something else altogether. Who knows? So tons of fun projects out there that I'd like to do and make. So I'd like to spend some of my summer doing some things for myself and or my family, and obviously relaxing. So this week I made 4 items. Actually, I only made 3 this week. I made 4 counting the cowl that I did the week before, and I made a spider the week before too, but it went into my market inventory. And so I made 4 things, and it was $104. So, okay, enough of me rambling. I will talk to you guys next week, or hopefully I'll have way more than 4 things to show you. And you guys have a great week. Feel free to leave comments down below. I love talking to you guys in the comments. Appreciate you guys being here and watching this video. Sorry I didn't have much for you this week, but I appreciate you being here. Whether it's 4 things or 40 things that I make, you guys are amazing and I appreciate you. So I will talk to you guys later. Like and subscribe if you like this content, you know, do that thing. But also have a great week and happy crocheting, guys. We'll see you. Bye.